while in her case the whole idol thing was also a factor, I think we might not always realize how we tend to put sometimes impossible expectations on ourselves as well. Making this video wasn't really on my list, to be fair the ADHD one wasn't either, but in the last few weeks I've been thinking a lot about fame, expectations and burnout in regards to content creation. So I'm going to talk about that while doing random stuff in the background to keep your attention. I was partially pushed to talk about this due to Gawr Gura's recent graduation. I wasn't an active follower, but when it was announced I was taken aback. What? She's pretty much the face of HoloVN. The number one Vtuber in the world, what? That was my reaction, strictly on the inside, where I'm used to keep everything locked away. While I'm obviously a no one compared to Gura, even though I'm sure I have infinite subscribers, but YouTube just doesn't want to accept it. She talked about stuff that spoke to me a lot while I was listening to her being interviewed by Takanashi Kiara.
Being the #1 subscribed VTuber in the world comes with a lot of pressure. How did you feel about being catapulted into this position?
So I was kind of working off of adrenaline fumes all of the time. So I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Obviously it was exciting and fun, but it was terrifying. Yeah.
If I were in Gura's shoes where hundreds, thousands of people were watching and listening to me, I would be plunged into fight or flight mode so fast I'd get a whiplash. Hell, even just jumping from 18 subscribers to 67 in a week due to that one specific video made me feel uncomfortable, but more on that later. It's quite obvious how much pressure was put on her shoulders, and while in her case the whole idol thing was also a factor, I think we might not always realize how we tend to put sometimes impossible expectations on ourselves as well. We are all humans with limited energy and needs that we can't afford to push into the background for the sake of fulfilling our roles as content creators. And that sucks, because we live in a world where if you want to quote-unquote succeed on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, wherever, you constantly have to puke out content after content to please the almighty god of algorithm. The media also showers us with things like, whoa, this person is only 16 years old and they are already a millionaire. Whoa, look at how this person became a famous influencer in a single day. And they basically promote this as if it was the norm. You just entered high school and you don't already have your own house and job? What the fuck are you doing with your life? I've come to understand that people don't really want fame, they just want to be loved and respected. That's why we love when the funny numbers go up on Twitter. I saw this Reddit post about suddenly blowing up, riding the wave and then crashing down into depression, and while we could argue that leaving a steady job for content creation is a no-no, this person really seemed like they could make a living out of this, so I really feel for them. I never thought any of my videos would get any views, so I'm really grateful and content with how they are now, especially since I'm a new creator. Well, kind of. But then I made the ADHD video on a whim pretty much, and it got ridiculously more views than the others in a short amount of time, and that made me a bit nervous. I didn't expect anything from it because it was originally meant to serve as a kind of filler while I was silently working on another video. This situation reminds me of one of my old YouTube channels. One of my videos blew up and got 400,000 views, and I started making even more content like that, and my expectations of myself skyrocketed. And then I inevitably burned out. Making a career out of your hobbies is really tough because it's easy to lose sight of your original goals. When you start getting into social media and YouTube it becomes all about the numbers, you know, the clicks, the likes. But creative work is not about that, and yet we immediately judge ourselves based on statistics that cater to mindless machines throwing out stuff on the internet for clout. It's an unreasonable concept, not to mention it makes us doubt our own abilities and might even start thinking stuff like, do I even love doing the things I do? I always try to make something better than my previous creations, and I tend to overwhelm myself with all the grand ideas I have, even though I don't possess the necessary skills yet. If you are also like that, don't forget to stop from time to time, have a deep breath and slow the hell down. Improvement and growth is an unbelievably long game, which requires just as much patience as willpower to see it through. At the same time, don't be afraid to try out new things and see what sticks. It will worth it in the end. I feel like I'm dragging this out, so if there's anything I'm trying to say here is that if you are a creative person in pursuit of success, however that may look for you, make sure you remember why you are doing what you are doing. If you are constantly making stuff for an audience, make something just for yourself or your friends. And take care of your health. Drink a lot of water, have walks, sleep plenty, no crunching. Stay safe and have a pleasant day. But then I made the ADHD video on a whim and it got ridiculously more views than the others in a short amount of time, and that made me re-record this line. Then I make a that's not what they have subscribed. That's not what they have subscribed. That's not what they have subscribed for. Why is it so fucking hard to say this word?